There we go.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Happy Wednesday.
It's Wednesday again.
My name is Michelle Plazik with RE/MAX Realty Advantage.
And I'm Kim Malden with RE/MAX Realty Advantage.
And we are here today. Well, actually, we're here every Wednesday.
At
12:30 to just give you little snippets of the real estate world. And today we're going to talk about mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we want to start? Basically, there's
Four big ones.
4 types of mortgages.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why don't we start with the least used, or not the least used, but like, for example, VA loans. If you're not a vet, it doesn't matter.
Right. But that's not the least used because we have a lot of veterans in San Antonio. We're a big military city and we love our military. So.
However, you have to have a certain amount in your eligibility.
Right. So if you're a veteran and have never bought a home, then you have all of your eligibility. If you're a veteran and have bought a home but paid it off, then you have all of your eligibility. If you bought a home that wasn't under the max limit and haven't paid it off, you have what's left. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that one, but it's a great loan.
It is a great loan because you don't need a down payment.
Nope.
Interest rates are great for our veterans, and there is a maximum, and they just raised it, I think, to 427, somewhere around there, 426, 427. And then there's also the USDA loan.
That is a great product, but if you're looking for the short commute to your job and you work downtown, it's probably not for you. It's for areas that are further out of the metro. But it's also a zero down product. You have to have a good credit score for that one, though.
You do have to have a good credit score, and you have to fall within their income limits.
Right. And I think the credit score on that one's like 660. So whereas normally we're looking for 620 and above for most of the loans.
Back in the day, they used to call this the Farm and Ranch loan. Now they call it the USDA, which stands for U.S. Department of Agriculture. So obviously they are trying to target areas that maybe people don't normally go out and build a house on.
Right.
However, with San Antonio, we've been expanding so much for the past years. It's right within our commute distance. There's not too many places other than outside of 1604.
Right, so, right. And especially we're finding out way west.
Yeah, northwest.
There's a lot that are falling into the USDA zone there. So that's a great thing. I've had a couple of buyers use the USDA. So it's a great product.
And then we come down to the two that are chosen the most, I think, is conventional and FHA. And what's the difference? You want to start with that, Kim?
Yeah. So FHA is a little more forgiving if your credit score hasn't always been stellar and you've been working on it recently. So they're a little more forgiving. You don't have to have, they're still looking for that 620
credit score,
yeah. And then the interest rate is a little bit higher than what it would be with a conventional, but not a whole lot. I mean, it's still really affordable. And FHA is actually the one that I think there are a few more fees in it that you're going to pay, but it's usually the one that can get you the most affordable payment monthly. So, you give a little, you take a little on that one.
Well, they have what they call a mortgage insurance premium attached to the FHA loan, which is forever.
The life of the
loan.
So
you do pay that for the entire life of the loan. And it can be significant. It all depends. It's a certain percentage of the balance. So it just, or not the balance, it's a certain percentage of the mortgage amount. Yeah. So I think that you really need to talk to a lender to have them compare. One difference is that you can put less money down for an FHA. Well, actually, sometimes they have low down payment.
Yeah, they did just start doing that with conventionals. Yeah. But the thing about the mortgage interest is you can now pay it up front. So if you don't want to pay it over the life of the loan, it's my understanding that you can pay
for an
it
FHA.
Up front. No, I guess that's conventional. Sorry. Yeah. So for conventional, you can do that.
Okay. So that's okay. So typically it's 3.5% down.
Yep.
And the that fee, that mortgage insurance premium does change. But when I'm calculating it, I calculate like 0.5% in that monthly fee. Just that'll give you a ballpark anyway, and you'll have to talk to a lender about that.
Right.
But what does it mean to have an FHA loan? I mean, really, what does that mean? there's no third, I mean, there is a third party involved, and that's the federal government, because that's what it is. FHA stands for Federal Housing Authority. And that means that it's backed by the feds, that if you should not pay your payments, the bank is going to get the money from the federal government. And they get that from that mortgage insurance premium. That's why you're paying it. It's insurance that you're going to pay your premium.
Right.
And your monthly mortgage.
That's why it's now the lifetime of the loan, because it didn't used to be. So there are a lot of people you may be watching that said, well, I had one and we didn't have to do that. But when the last housing crash happened, that was one of the changes that came along with that. So now if you should default, it's built in for the life of the loan and you can't get rid of it. And that was as a result of that last crash.
Now, conventional mortgage is the way you want to go if you have a little bit better credit. You can still get in for 3% down on some loans, but you are going to pay
a little higher interest rate.
But you can also put down as much, well, you can put more down on an FHA too, but typically people that have more to put down will go with a conventional just because of the interest rate is going to be better.
Yeah, and there's fewer fees associated with the conventional. So they get the better rate, they get fewer fees, so it's less money over the life of the loan. But if you don't have that, big chunk to put down, then the FHA's the more affordable monthly way to go. But we do have, I did print out a little chart that I thought was really good to kind of tell you, over the life of the loan, like if you did this is all based on a $200,000 house. So if you did a 30-year FHA, there is, the green is where the fees are. There is a considerable chunk of fees in there.
Pointed that way too.
Yep, this one too, yeah. We'll cover everybody. There is a considerable chunk of fees, but like I said, this is still the easiest path to home ownership. The conventional, if you're maybe doing a second or third home, and you've saved some money, or you're going to have a good chunk of equity coming out of the house you're going to sell, conventional, if you can do a 15-year conventional, there are no fees, which I think is fantastic. I mean, I love that about them. And then I think we need to address adjustable rate mortgages.
Yes. So the most typical mortgage that people get are a 30-year mortgage, and it's amortized, fixed rate. It's going to be the same for the life of the loan. Some people are going with a 15-year mortgage, and you can get those at a much better rate and interest rate. However, your payment is significantly higher.
Yeah.
And then there's also
the adjustable rate mortgage. I had a client that just did one just recently because he said, I'm going to pay this house off in less than 5 years. So for him, that was going to be great, because what he was able to do was take the 5-year ARM. He got a much lower rate. And then at the end of the 5 years, if it's not paid off, of course, there's the balloon payment. But he says it's going to be paid off. So for him, that was great.
Right. So the way that these ARMs work, the adjustable rate mortgages, is you can get a 1-year ARM, you can get a 2-year, a 3-year, a 5-year. The 1, 3, and 5 seem to be the most common.
Yeah.
1, 3, 5, and 7, I think is, but not too many people are getting them anymore, just because of our interest rates have been so low.
Yeah.
We did get one time because we thought, well, we don't plan on being in this house more than 5 years, so let's get a 7-year ARM, and we got a much better interest rate. Of course, we were in the house more than 5 years. So unless you know for sure, because that's what happens is it becomes due. It stays a fixed rate, but then it becomes due at that with a balloon payment. So let's say you have a date, that drop dead date to get that paid off, which means usually you just have to remortgage it.
Right. And you don't know what interest rates are going to be at the end of that 7 years or 5 years, whatever you signed up for. So that's a risk. It's a calculated risk, but for some folks, it's really well worth taking.
It's not very popular right now because our interest rates are low, but when our interest rates are high, which they will go back up. I mean, I've been around for quite a while, and I've seen the interest rates go from 17 down to 3, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go back up eventually, but let's hope not.
Well, let's not back up to 17, but I mean, I remember 17 years ago buying my first house, and I was happy to get 7.5.
Yeah.
So, because I think at that time people were telling me, we haven't seen single digit rates in ages. And
right. When I was back in the day, we never thought we'd see single digits again.
Yeah.
And it was all the way up to 17. Yeah. We never thought we'd see it.
Yeah. So.
And we did. So, But it's a good mortgage to keep in the back of your mind for if there is a possibility that someday that you need that.
Yep, absolutely.
So unless anybody has any questions, which I don't think anybody's on today, but
no questions.
You can send us some questions.
Send us some questions or give us a call.
We'd be happy to.
And we've got some really great experienced lenders that can answer a ton of questions about these things too. So that's just a really quick overview of them. But like I said, we can give you a lot more information if you need it.
Okay. Signing off.
See ya. Have a great day.